Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is concerned that the Russians are about to detonate a nuclear missile under the Yellowstone volcano, unleashing havoc across the United States. Will Superman be able to turn back time and save us? Or will legend John Dutton from the television show Yellowstone put his foot down, portrayed by Kevin Costner, and stop this from happening? He stole basically my quote, but that's fine. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. Short version, you suck. Currently, this show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And yes, Caroline, if it is not, look at date. Biden. February. Oh, it's last day of February, 28th, 2023.
Yes,
you
indeed.
are listening to a rerun. Go figure. It's not a leap year. Quote of the day goes exactly like this. Vladimir Putin's allies have bizarrely threatened to use the Satan II nuclear missile to attack the Yellowstone super volcano. How many things are wrong with that headline? A lot. We're going to talk about it. My co-host, she's lovely, she's sassy, and she's one of the biggest flat earth rock stars ever. It's Karen B from channel of the same name, Karen B. Hey, Karen.
Indeed. Hi, Mark.
What lovely sweatshirt. You know, because I only see you from the neck up, which is a crime. What is the what are you wearing? What do you got there? What's your shirt?
It's just some hoodie I picked up at a store. It's got like mushrooms and stuff on it.
So a drug-related shirt.
No, it's mushrooms and trees and smiley faces.
Got it. Karen likes drugs. Okay. Hey, Karen, being the current queen of Flat Earth, it must be hard to find Flat Earth friends. Do you know an easy way to find cool people like yourself and solid info about our stationary horizontal level plane?
Why, yes, that would be the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app.
Yes, sure enough, it's the perfect gift for friends, family, and complete strangers. Watch the feature video every day for 2 weeks and see what happens. It'll be the best $2.99 you've ever spent. I'm David Weiss, and I also like drugs. Don't forget, you can also find this program on BitChute and Brighteon, Rockfin, and Rumble. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is just the beginning. Shout outs to, and sorry, by the way, sorry for starting a few minutes late today, guys.
Yes, I had technical problems. My fault.
Not Karen's fault. It was
Well,
the agency messing with her. They do that from time to time.
yeah.
They take bets on if they can get her to like crinkle her forehead while it's
It
happening.
made me say lots of bad words.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's like a bingo card for that. See how many they can fill in. Shout out obviously to Flat Earther Stephen Carpenter of the Deftones. Support the Flat Earth cause and get the coolest hoodies ever. Go to the strong.family, won't you? Pick up some merch. There's some cool stuff there. Meetups. There are 2 that I have on my calendar and 1 on Karen's calendar because I am on top of it today. The first one is going to be in Florida, March 4th. I think in St. Petersburg, if I'm not mistaken. You can check out that promo on my channel. Also, and I will make a new promo for this. It's right now it's listed as Flat Earth Potluck because there is going to be food. It's going to be March 18th, if I'm not mistaken, down in the Los Angeles area. I will be attending that, which is why my wonderful face is on the thumbnail. So please, by all means, if you want to hang out with me down there, go to the promo. They're trying to keep the numbers from getting out of hand, so they're not listing the address on the promo itself this time. You actually have to RSVP. They're not going to vet you, as far as I know, but you have to do have to RSVP them and say, hey, then we'll give you the address. And then Karen is going to one in your neck of the woods on
Yes, March 12th. That will be Sunday, March 12th. We'll be at the Drayton Mills area marketplace in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's at 2 p.m. on, so that'll be then. Cool.
Right on. So if you want to see Karen in all her glory, by all means, go there and harass her. But be aware, I'm pretty sure Ted's going to be there. I don't know if he's going to be wearing a shirt or not, but I'm hoping he's not.
I'm not sure if Ted will be there or not, to be honest with you.
So Karen will be unsupervised and unchaperoned.
Why do you tell people that? Are you trying to get me in trouble?
No, no, I'm not. I'm
I think
not.
you
Bring a
are.
white panel van and like a sack.
You're trying to get me kidnapped, aren't you?
No, no, no. The reason, Michael, I kid. We come on. How many hundreds of flat Earth events have been done, and not a single incident, with the exception of the Griffith Park Observatory. There was a small fight that broke out, but that was between one of our people who was drunk and said something to a non-flat earther that I think was racist, and he got punched. So that was it. I mean, out of all the hundreds of things, we've never had an incident. So I, for whatever reason, we're charmed. We're blessed. Nothing's ever going to happen to Karen. She's bulletproof. I don't mean that literally. Don't test that out. She's not
Yeah, don't
actually
come mess
bulletproof.
with me. I'll kick you in the kneecaps, all right?
There
Just
you
leave me
go.
alone.
See, she's South Kakalaki. Represent
I'm kidding.
East Side. Yep, tons of street cred on my side. Okay, let's get to the headlines, shall we? Just get right into it. We get a bunch, but I think we can squeeze them in between now and the second segment. So the first one, this is straight from the headline, the show headline, which is from the Sun. Um, Putin's allies bizarrely threatened to nuke Yellowstone supervolcano in the United States with the Satan II missile, because that's what you name your big missiles, to cause radioactive eruption. The attack that could cause a radioactive eruption was openly talked about on state-run TV and came as the Russian tyrant ordered testing of the 16,000-mile-an-hour missile. Now, the reason why I thought this was interesting is because, as you know, months ago, the UK did a veiled threat on England. As you know, there's a thing happening in Ukraine. NATO wants Ukraine. Soviet Union, which is now Russia, wants Ukraine back. So there are ninjas on both sides doing things, and there's ninjas from the United States and the UK, which are doing things in Russia. And Russia is serving people notice. And they said, oh, hey, England, by the way, we're going to make a tidal wave weapon and just wipe out the whole UK. And now, finally, after months, they said, oh, hey, by the way, US, we're thinking of hitting one of your weak spots and opening up the supervolcano in Yosemite. And I was thinking about this. I'm going, you know what? Even though, regardless whether you believe in the supervolcano or not, or how unstable it is, or whatever, the United States is kind of like the Empire in Star Wars. And the United States continental area is kind of like the Death Star. We do have a few weak points. If it was me being the villain, I wouldn't go after the supervolcano. I'd go after one of the two, east or west. Now, obviously, everybody knows about the San Andreas and the California side, Lex Luthor style. Use some sort of weapon and get that thing to go off. Whoa, the whole West Coast would be a nightmare. However, the lesser known one, although the truth community knows, I'm sure Karen does too, near Memphis, the New Madrid system, fault system, which is in that area. You hit that, there's all sorts of weird stuff that could happen in the eastern part of the country. So the United States got some weak spots if you knew where to hit them. So interesting that the Russia would do this. Now, would they do it? I doubt. There's a lot of Russian citizens here, but you never know. So if you see Russian citizens just like moving for no apparent reason, getting into U-Haul vans, take notice. Next one down, as we're speaking about empty threats. This is from Russia Today. Russia calling us out, which is U.S. is preparing a false flag chemical attack in Ukraine, says Moscow. The Americans believe a provocation won't be properly investigated due to the fighting, says the Russian military. You know what? They're not wrong. You know, if you wanted to, you could launch some sort of massive chemical attack. Now, would that enrage the NATO forces enough to get them to really charge in there? I doubt it. But anyway, they say the U.S. is preparing to stage false flag chemical attacks in Ukraine to pin the blame on Moscow for the use of banned toxic agents, said the chief of Russia's chemical side, Igor Kirilov. The Americans believe blah blah blah, and was interesting was Russian's defense ministry has obtained information that a train with a cargo of chemical substances in one of its cars has apparently arrived in the Ukrainian-controlled city of Kramatorsk in Donbass on February 10th. So this is Russia, in my opinion, diffusing the situation. They're like, hey, if something chemical happens somewhere around here, it wasn't us. It's a good sign. If you announce that right off the bat early, say, hey, dude, wasn't us. You're probably fine. So good for you. Next one down. Meanwhile, on the other side, the United States is trying to provoke. So this is from CNN. U.S. Navy reconnaissance flight over Taiwan, the Taiwan Strait to be specific, draws angry response from China. Now, you can say angry response all you want, but after the Pelosi thing, that tiger got no teeth. If they didn't do anything, they didn't even do a flyover when Pelosi showed up. And it's like, she better not show up. Saber, rattle, rattle. Nope. So we're flying jets basically on a regular basis over those guys. And they said, here was the quote. Statements. Let's see. China's Eastern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army, Senior Colonel Shi Yi, accused Washington of hyping the flight and inflaming tensions. The U.S. flight has deliberately disrupted the regional situation and jeopardized the peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, Shi said. The allegation was amplified in Chinese state media with the story in the national state-run tabloid Global Times, claiming the flight of the U.S. Navy anti-submarine warfare and surveillance jet was just another provocation aimed at stirring up troubles. That's what I really should have called up the show, Stirring Up Troubles. That's a nice title.
I like that.
Anyway, so we're trying to mess with stuff. All right, we got time for a few more before we get into lucky and we'll see if we can crank these out before we get to lucky and unlucky. Next one down from CNN.com. Oh, this is ridiculous, although it's not Clown World. Earth's innermost layer is a 400-mile wide ball of iron. I noticed the shot they use. That's the one that David Weiss loves so much. It's where the United States is basically more than half of the globe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Love you guys use that shot, but it's like, okay, so you know exactly what the exact core of the Earth is, the 400-mile wide core of iron. You know this. You know this how? Somebody? Anybody? No. Next one down, Fox News. This is a happy thing. Tennis star Nick Kyrgios admits to being a massive conspiracy guy. Doesn't rule out Earth being flat. Yeah, that's because he's friends with our buddy Novak Djokovic, who's absolutely flat Earth. Why aren't you covering him? Don't know, because, well, I know why, because he didn't say it on air. Here's the part that gets me, right? He also says he doesn't believe the pyramids are man-made. Oh, nice. See where you're going there. And you can see him. He's Australian's bad boy. You want to see, if you scroll down, you know where he said this? This is the part that blows me away, that Fox actually covered this. I don't even know what to believe anymore, Kyrgios said when he was asked on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast. So I have mixed feelings about this, even though I hate Logan Paul and, again, wish he was hit by a bus that was driven by a flat earther. Even though I love the fact that Kyrgios actually said this because Logan trolled us during the Denver conference years ago. And several celebs have brought this up on that show, which is great. So Logan, suck on that while you're at it. Anyway, so yeah, Nick, call me. Good stuff. Like that Nick's doing that. We got three more before we go to the break. The next one's from the Daily Mail. That's in the UK. This is one of those obvious ones. Exclusive. Karen knows this one. Arkansas cops rule suicide in death of Clinton aide linked to Jeffrey Epstein, who was found shot and tied to a tree with an electrical cord around his neck, despite no sign of weapon.
It's like the most ridiculous headline ever.
And they know it too. The UK knows full well. It's like, so he's tied to a tree. He was shot. There's no gun. And it's a suicide.
And he signed Epstein into the White House.
Yep, nothing suspicious there. Thank you, Britain, for at least doing a little tongue in cheek here. I mean, they know full well. They know conspiracies as well as the next guy. All right. Last but not least, before we go to there's two more. Second and last one. Oh yeah, I got to mention this one. This is Dilbert comic strip dropped by U.S. media over creator's racist tirade. Now you're probably thinking, Mark, didn't we talk about Scott Adams from the Dilbert comic strip? Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, he got the shot and was lashing out at everybody that didn't get to the shot, for a long time. And then all of a sudden he developed all sorts of side effects for some apparent reason. We don't know. And then he actually came out and said, you know what? I think he's starting to crack, actually, where he's like, you guys, I made the wrong decision. You guys were right. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
However, he responded to a questionnaire, and it was an older questionnaire, right? Where he said, I'm going to read this. Remember, I'm reading this from him. Well, I'm not reading this from me. I would say, based on current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people because there is no fixing this. Wow.
Yeah.
And because of that, he was banned basically by every newspaper out there because newspapers are all blue team. Now, in hindsight, it's not going to hurt him really in any way. Come on, he's been doing the Dilbert thing since 1989. He's got FU money, a lot of it, and newspapers have been in decline for a long, long time anyway, so he could care less. Dilbert's not going anywhere. That he's got so much content that's out there. But interesting that he would self-destruct like this in the social media world. I mean, you're not gonna be able to cancel him. Who cares? It doesn't matter. His peak was long gone. It is way in the rearview mirror. Now, I mean, again, I remember when he was hot back in basically the entire decade of the 90s and the first part of the 2000s when the tech revolution was really ramping up. He was in front of that wave because Dilbert was all about, Dilbert and Dogbert were the tech support guys. And so he was writing all this content like Law and Order writes crime, because they can just grab it out of the headlines. He was just grabbing tech headlines and turning them into gold. He had a license to print money. All right, last but not least, TMZ.com. Because of Peanut Gallery, I have to check TMZ multiple times a day because for whatever reason, they get the headlines first. Woody Harrelson, drug companies manipulated pandemic, forcing vaccines on us and making loads of cash. He actually threw that in there into a short segment during his recent monologue. Now, people may or may not know that Woody Harrelson has been a conspiracy guy for a long time, which unironically was used for him in the movie 2012, which was set in 2009, where you've heard it first from Charlie, where he played this crazy conspiracy guy. But he really is a crazy conspiracy guy. Only he's not crazy. He's one of us. So the fact that they I thought two parts: one, that they allowed that to air on Saturday Night Live, and that the media didn't shine a spotlight on it really in any way. Fox News covered a little bit of it, but that was it. So if you haven't heard the little clip, please listen to Woody Harrelson talk about it on the, the way he did in context was a fake story. It's like, if he wrote a story about the pandemic and he made it, he threw that in there that, there's a big conspiracy around it, but was it? I don't know. Okay. We're going to our first break. Yeah, pretty close on time. And when we come back, we're going to do Lucky Unlucky and Clown Worlds. So Karen, hit that funky music, white boy.
All righty.
Are you a blue dot? Those questioning where we live are not just here. They are everywhere. Of course, this info is hidden from you, but the app shows you that no matter where you go, you aren't alone. We are everywhere, and we are growing. Find your tribe today.
Shout out to Karen B, Mark Sargent, David Weiss. I'll be checking out that video this weekend at the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app on YouTube. Or
Join me, Karen B, every moon day in the early light, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, on Rockfin, Twitch, and Facebook for an early light chit chat. Open phones, open topics, always chill. I hope to see you there.
Welcome to Strange World Part 2 for to me, the always lovely Karen B. And you know what? That was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album
Night and Day.
Yep. Peanut Gallery gives me a golf clap and smokes. Okay, we're going to do Lucky and Unlucky to start, and then hopefully we can crank through to the Clown Worlds. I think the timing should be perfect because now we're right on track. Okay, first one, TMZ. If you guys want to know who dies first, go to TMZ. That's one of the things they do. Oh my God, though. The more I spend time on TMZ, the more I have realized, the gossip rag is alive and well.
Oh, yes.
If you do anything in Hollywood, you know, anything even remotely, seriously, it is the he said, she said high school antics of Hollywood. Anyway. This first one is not. This one's lucky. She's alive. Bethany Frankel. I'm not doing great. Major struggles with autoimmune disease. If you ever hear anyone say they've got a new autoimmune problem, well, you probably know where it came from. Bethany tearfully revealed her struggle Thursday, knowing her fans would instantly notice her face looked odd. That doesn't look good. She says it's all related to her struggle with POTS disease, a blood circulation disorder that is associated with bloating, extreme achiness, weight gain, and worst of all, dehydration. See, I thought the worst of all would include death, but yeah, you know, that's fine. Anyway, dehydration's messing with her in a profound way. So yeah, it is a social media nightmare. By the way, if you're on social media and you run into, you know, that you get side effects from the shot of unknown origin, then yeah, you're pretty much done. Okay, next one down. This is from BBC Sport. Tom Tierney, former Ireland international and women's head coach, dies aged 46. Yeah. Wearing his green. Former Ireland women's head coach.
Another person dead at 46, huh?
Yep. Yep. He actually played games at the World Cup in '99 back in the day. And yeah. So sorry to hear that. Sorry, Tom.
99. Was that the year that the World Cup was in America?
99. Peanut, look that up. Where was the World Cup in 1999? All right, next one down. From TMZ, Madonna's oldest brother, Anthony. How do you pronounce Madonna's real last name? Is that Ciccone? 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 Anyway, he's dead at 66, which leads into the stuff I've been talking about for months and months, which is A-listers, you're pretty safe. Anyone around you, not so much. So he died of what? What did they say he died of?
I think maybe Madonna sacrificed him for her youth.
Oh, probably. He at one point was like homeless. on top of it. I was like, jeez, dude.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Whatever. Anyway, he was 66. So that was also in TMZ. Next one down, some Fox News. Former Mets pitching prospect Matt, oh boy, Polberrico, dead at 31. See, I didn't know. Is that Eastern Bloc? No, there's a lot of Eastern Bloc guys. Anyway, most recently played in Mexico, died suddenly of a heart attack. Died suddenly. Why does that sound familiar, Karen?
31.
Yeah, 31 years old.
That's insane.
I know. And he was again, pro ball player. Now, granted, baseball, their cardio isn't exactly top of the line,
Yeah, but
but
still,
come
he's only
on.
31.
I know.
And he
I
played
know.
ball. Like that, he's still got to be in better shape than probably most people his age.
Oh yeah,
Let's be honest.
99%. No, he's definitely in the 1%. But my point there was he died suddenly. And yes, by the way, you're right, Karen. 1999, it was at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California.
Huh.
World Cup. Good call. Good catch.
Because I
Were
remember,
you anywhere near there in
well,
99?
I still lived in California when that happened, and I happened to work at a wine shop near Stanford University. And
How's that even possible? You were like 5 in 1999.
I know, you're so sweet, but yes, no. Yes. And I just remember the influx of foreigners. I was like, there's so many Europeans and like people here with accents. Like, this is crazy. It just wasn't,
Turns out it was the World Cup.
yeah.
And the United States played China. China
China.
in that.
Mhm.
Go figure. But yeah, he was 31. He's unlucky. Most of these guys are unlucky. In fact, it's amazing, as far as lucky versus unlucky, very few. Like I didn't want to bring this up, but Tom Sizemore, who was lucky last week, chances are they're going to have to pull the plug on him this week. Because he had an aneurysm. You don't. Heart attack is something you have a chance to bounce back from. Aneurysm, not so much.
I don't have the Tom Sizemore link. Did you send me a link for that?
No, I didn't because
Oh.
I wasn't going to cover it.
Oh, okay.
We did it last week, and Tom Sizemore, you can look him up, character actor, got in a lot of great movies. The two big ones that everyone remembers, he was the Tom Hanks right hand man in Saving Private Ryan,
Yeah.
and he was one of the crew in Heat.
Mhm.
That had a big year that year. All right, next one down. We're going to switch from lucky and unlucky to health related. So I will jump over to something health related. This one's from CNN.com, if I'm not mistaken. Karen, is that right?
Yes.
Which is 0-calorie sweetener. Hey, it's linked to heart attack and stroke.
Erythritol? Whatever.
What's that in? Used to add bulk
Erythritol.
sweetened stevia, monk fruit, keto reduced sugar products. Has
Yeah.
been linked to, say it with me now, folks, blood clotting, stroke, heart attack, and death.
It couldn't be that people who are already like years of abusing processed sugar switch to these things and like they're sick anyway.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
but
Like, it's so ridiculous.
But those 4 things we have been reading so much of: blood clotting, stroke,
Yeah.
heart attack, and death.
I know, but they say everything except you know what causes that.
Exactly. And the t-shirt, which I have yet to wear, is still sitting brand new on the hanger in a vacuum sealed room, which is "The Air is Lava," thought of by Karen. Which is true. I mean, that's what that is how they're going to get away with it, is they just tell everybody that no matter what you do, it could cause heart attack. And there's so many people, because they're in denial. It's like, oh my God, I believe it. My friend, he was breathing the other day and tilling his yard and just dropped dead. Another person was petting his cat and dropped dead. And there's this girl I heard of. She was putting on underarm deodorant. She just dropped dead. And we all know it was underarm deodorant that killed her. Okay, next one down. This one's sad. I felt bad for this one. I like this guy. Dukes of Hazzard star John Schneider. He didn't die, but his wife did. She was 53. And I felt bad because you could tell he did not want to deal with this. He was like, please respect our privacy during this time of grief. Please do not ask any questions. Whew.
How sad.
Yeah.
How old is she? Was
50,
she? 53. Jeez.
53. Yeah. My age.
Man.
Not good. Next one down. This one's from the UK. I love social influencer pictures, which is flight attendant 24 What did she die of? Oh, right, suddenly. That's a thing. That's a thing. Suddenly. What brings on suddenly? The fact that you can use suddenly now as an actual death type. Moments after the plane landed at Stansted Airport, a cabin crew member, um, let's see here, died suddenly moments after the plane landed at Stansted Airport. Where's Stansted, Peanut? Oh, it's got to be in the Europe, right? Working flight staff for airline Air Albania, died just days before Christmas. Well, now they're just announcing this. Essex Coroner's Court heard on Wednesday that she was traveling from the Albanian capital to Essex. Oh, there we go. When she suddenly fainted. After fainting by the front of the plane, she was given CPR and first aid, but sadly did not make it. Yeah, UK. Thank you, Peanut. The East of England Ambulance Service said 2 ambulances, a hazard area response team vehicle, because really you don't know why she dropped, an ambulance officer vehicle. They all came and to no avail. So sorry about that, Greta. Moving on. Next one down. This one's this is not a lucky or unlucky, but it is related. This is from Fox News. FDA approves first at-home test to detect both flu and COVID. The Lucira COVID and flu home test will provide results in 30 minutes.
Lucira is what they're calling it.
Lucira, yeah. Yeah, Pfizer looks like they're the ones behind it. They authorized the first over-the-counter, and here's the brilliance of this, right? Which is now you can test for both simultaneously. However, I asked you before, Karen, what do you think is going to show up more positive? Flu or C19?
Oh, definitely the 19.
Absolutely. That's like, again, but you get a whole secondary market because now you're testing for both. Oh, I'm just doing the flu test.
Yeah, but you got a backup, right?
Oh, and it does not require a prescription. It's just straight over the counter. Wow, great timing. You're going to sell a bunch of those.
If you use these at-home COVID/flu tests, you might be retarded.
The test that's detected 88% of positive cases and 100% of negatives. It also detected 99.9% of negative influenza B. Again, I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about my friends because no one I know.
Oh, look at this child. There got a picture of him doing it to a little girl down the bottom. That's so horrible.
I know.
Leave the children alone.
Yep.
Freaking monsters, man.
Yep. Next one down, New York Post. You were the one that sent me this one, Karen. New York Post. Elvis star, from the Elvis movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was tied to oh crap, I forgot her name already.
Lisa Marie.
Yeah, Lisa Marie. Not Priscilla. Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie.
Where, she died of something sudden right after the movie came out.
Cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
Heart failure.
Yeah. Elvis star Austin Butler was rushed to the ER after body just started shutting down. He just kind of revealed this recently, and that was after he was done with the movie. He went straight to the emergency room, and then he spent a week in bed and didn't really. Was interesting. He did not talk about it. I would have thought he would have talked about this, especially after the whole Lisa Marie thing, but he did not. So was it, did his body shut down because of something that had to do with the shot? Yeah, maybe. Don't know. I think so. Why not? That's my default. That's what I'm going to. Because there's just so much of it going around.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. I read Peanut's thing. On hopefully he posted it for you down below. Oh, hey, by the way, while Peanut's doing his thing, there's an email that came in, by the way, about our headline, which was, hey, he goes, quick read on the Yellowstone thought. He goes, wouldn't Russia be destroying themselves because it could cause a 10-year global winter if the volcano went off? It would not be in their interest, but it would destroy North America. And I responded, I said, yeah, but America would go first. And that'd be good enough for Russia if it came down to it. As long as Russia dies last, well, as long as anybody dies last, sometimes it's worth it. Okay, next one down, which is where are we? Kevin Crew, Austin Butler. The next one down is, if I'm not mistaken, from Yahoo News, Chris Jordan. You got that one?
Yep.
Republican who represented Delaware County in the Ohio House dies at 46. What happened? Died Saturday of natural causes. Really? 46?
Perfectly
Natural
healthy
causes?
looking 46-year-old died of natural causes.
Really? What exactly was natural about that dying at 46? By the way, that is a terrible way to write that. Nobody dies at natural causes at 46. You just don't. But yeah, he seemed fine. And again, right down here, Fran and I are shocked and saddened to learn about the death of the rep, Chris Jordan. We said, okay, if it was shocked and saddened, then it was, what was it? It was sudden or unexpected or both if you're an idiot. So you don't use both in a headline. Whatever. In fact, I may even throw one more at you if we have time before we go to the break. Okay, next one down. Yeah, this is the last one. And then I want to throw in one more at the bottom for you. I just want to prove a point here. This is from TMZ. Ex-US swim champ Jamie Kale, woman, dies of what? Karen, could you read that title for me?
Ex-US swim champ Jamie Kale dies suddenly in U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah. Imagine that. Keep hearing that. What is the common thread? Why would all these people die suddenly? Suddenly or unexpected? I don't know. But anyway, what happened was, you remember, again, we're talking about peak of, well, she was a top athlete. Swimmers are generally. And she had been out with somebody else at a local bar, left to check in on her at home, and discovered her on the floor. Cops say the man and one of his friends were able to transport to a local hospital, or they tried CPR, always CPR, which is weird. And that was it. At 2:40 in the morning, she was pronounced dead. And police are investigating, but that's not going to go anywhere. What? You found her dead on the floor? Have you not been reading the headlines? So let me throw this. There's a picture I want to oh, you want me to read that thing at the bottom, Karen? As well?
Sure.
From the chat, could you? Oh yeah, Peter Jarvio.
Yeah.
He's been doing FE activism at University of Missouri since Monday. Wow.
Yes.
He will be there until Thursday. He's started to record his activism. About time. I mean, the guy, I've never seen activism like him. I mean, it's not like he just shows up on campus for a few hours. No. He shows up, he gets a permit and then sets up and shows up on Monday. He doesn't leave till Friday.
Yeah. He wears that permit out
all freaking day. That man is like Teflon. Nothing phases him. I want to also throw this in there before we get to the clown world, which is, for every one of these celebs that we read, you got to remember there's a whole bunch of other people that aren't being mentioned. So I'm going to throw this little screenshot here for you down at the bottom of chat. And this screenshot, I believe, is from, I don't know what platform that's from. I don't recognize it. But it's just an average person on the street. Stephanie Lynn Brown. Stephanie Lynn Zillis Brown, age 45, of Portage, passed away of what? Suddenly on February 20th, 2023. Nothing, she played softball, she was married, everything fine, and then just all of a sudden.
Wow, she's the same age as me, almost exactly the same age as me.
Yeah. People like that, we're just running into more.
That's scary, man.
I know.
It's kind of freaky when you start reading about a bunch of people dying and they're all the same age as you.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just glad I never took that freaking voodoo juice.
Oh yeah, you and me both. And I am hoping, and I thank you for the people that have sent me stuff that says, well, shedding could be real. It's like, oh, you better hope it's not real. Because if it is real, everybody's screwed sooner or later. So I'm choosing not to believe in the shedding. Plus, we have yet to run into, come on, we scour the internet and our circles are pretty tight. So if we ran into somebody that all of a sudden, because basically that's kind of like secondhand smoke.
I know it's affected babies through breastfeeding.
That's a little different though.
I know, but that's
Yeah, I know, I hear you. I mean, well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But it left one
That doesn't
body
that
and went to another in that instance.
which leads into potentially other things I'm not going to mention on air, which yeah. Yeah. Well, again, why I would not have a relationship, and I'm using that term gingerly. I would not have a relationship with someone who got the shot at this point. Can't. How could you risk it?
Man, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I
hey,
wouldn't.
shake,
I
shaking hands
wouldn't.
with somebody, the occasional hug, that's fine. Or, sharing the same airspace, I'm not worried about that. But we will know sooner rather than later because of the whole secondhand smoke thing. You remember back in the day, one of the reasons why the lawsuits came up against big tobacco was that you had spouses of people that smoked heavily that were dying of lung cancer, and they didn't never smoked a cigarette. That's a little different, and it was long term. So I'm hoping that the shedding thing isn't as serious. But I will let you know. I'm not going to hide it. If I run into somebody, it's like, oh yeah, they died suddenly of this. They never, never, but they were living with such and such, or they were, we will find out the details on that. Okay, clown worlds. Back up to clown worlds. There are 3 of them, and the first clown world is. Oh yeah, one of the most. It's silly, but I got to read it. This is from the Columbus. It did not get national press, but it did get regional, which is out of the Columbus Dispatch. Right, not a well-traveled newspaper, in my opinion. Which is council says owners of large gun magazines in Columbus have until July 1st to sell or move them. Let me read this real fast. So, Columbus City Council passed legislation that gives owners of gun magazines of 30 rounds or more until July 1st to move them out of the city, sell them to a licensed arms dealer outside Columbus, or turn them over to the cops. The city council also took action. Well, we won't go on sports betting, but it's banning mags of 30 rounds or more. Okay. Then it says, oh crap. Back up. As well as requires safe gun storage around children and criminalizes giving or selling firearms to anyone prohibited to owning them. It's part of a bigger package, but there's no way to enforce it. How in the world are you going to enforce something like this? I mean, we've heard stuff like this in the past, but it's like, okay, fine, you're banning mags of 30 rounds or more. First off, what does that mean for 25 round mags or 20 round mags? That apparently is fine. And most pistol mags are way under 30. So okay, you're not doing anything there. And again, how would you even begin to enforce this? Something I have said many a time in the past. Don't forget that red team controls law enforcement, and law enforcement loves the big mags. They love them. They can't get enough of them.
Everybody
So
who
what do you
loves
do with
guns
those
loves
guys?
the big mags.
They do. They do. So what are you gonna do? You're asking guys who are like, the cops in the locker room going, hey, you're gonna give up your mags? Like, hell no. You're asking those guys to try to enforce that very law they won't enforce on themselves. No, it's not gonna work. Sorry, never gonna happen. So anyone that talks about the gun grab, I'm sorry, the gun grab's never, ever going to happen because it cannot be enforced, mostly because of social media now. Because again, if you try to do a gun grab in any city, the first neighborhood that gets hit, because what are you going to do? Go door to door? First people that get hit, the rest of the people, they're going to call everybody, they're going to text everybody, they're going to tweet, and everyone's going, oh, dude, I got mine were stolen, mine are lost. Mine definitely aren't buried in the backyard in a barrel. Whatever. Okay, next one down. CNN.com. That's for you, Karen. Study offers concerning insight on how daily marijuana use can affect your heart. Using marijuana every day can raise a person's risk of coronary artery disease, or CAD, by a third compared to those who never partake.
Whatever.
Yep. Signs of the condition include having angina or chest pain, feeling weak, dizzy, or sick to your stomach, or experiencing shortness of breath. However, for some people, ready? The first sign of CAD is a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Smoke weed, you could die suddenly. There you go.
Right. I think they're just taking like all the side effects of the GP jab, and then they're just making articles to make shit up. Exactly. Just anything.
You eat eggs.
Oh, we're getting high reports of this. Send out the articles.
Yeah.
Get the AI to write the article, send it across AP.
Yep. Just tack it on. Whatever it is. It will convince basically anybody that it's kind of like what pharmaceuticals, Chris Rock used to joke about that, how pharmaceuticals would market to everybody with this blanket. Do you have, this sort of problem? Do you have shaky hands? Do you get up in the morning? Do you
Yeah.
go to sleep at night? We got a pill for you. That's what they're doing here. They hit so many different areas that no matter what it is, somewhere in the back of your head, it's like, oh wait, I could have sworn I heard that causes a heart attack. It's like, really? Because it was an article about eating toast. All right. That last one, last clown world. Okay. We'll take this one into the break. Ford Motor Car Company is seeking a patent for cars, I can't make this up, that will ditch you if payments are missed. Okay. So,
Like, what do you mean ditch you? Like it's gonna drive away without you?
if it's got a self-driving option, it will drive to a repo lot. Right? But it gets so first off, it'll send if you missing payments, it'll send a thing to your smartphone notifying the user of the delinquency. If those notices go unnoticed, the system can disable select functionalities of the vehicle or even lock the vehicle out entirely, save for a medical emergency where it could potentially travel to a hospital or ambulance meeting spot automatically. And then for cars that self-drive, which is never going to happen, the patent also outlines the system's capability to move that vehicle to a parking spot more convenient for towing, as well as just relocating it to private property or other inaccessible areas. Oh my God.
That's so
in a more
stupid.
passive aggressive case, audio within the vehicle, such as a beeping horn, chime, or radio, could be activated remotely to annoy the operator. So like what, when you don't fasten your seatbelt, we'll just turn that thing on? Yeah. All you're going to do here, Ford, and I appreciate you, look, this is not going to happen. Never, ever going to happen. All you're doing, Ford, is you're almost guaranteeing that no one's going to buy the car that has this built in.
Exactly.
You will never buy it. You miss a payment and your car shuts off, your car locks you out. No.
It's just another reason to not buy Ford.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
As
so
if
yeah,
you needed
and
one.
I know why they're doing this. They're doing this because there's a lot of people, because of the economy, they're not making their payments, so the repo market has gone through the freaking roof. They can't even hire enough repo guys to go get the cars. So the car manufacturers are saying, hey, maybe we can get in on this and do it ourselves, so we don't have to, so we can get more of our money back instead of hiring repo guys. Good luck.
Alrighty.
All right, with that, top of the hour, we are going to our break, and when we come back, we will take your phone calls. Hey, Karen, take us out, won't you?
Absolutely. Please support local flat earthers. Grounded Extracts. Like a plug into an outlet, nature is a key into the mind. Once there, it can clean out old chemical leftovers and nourish the mind and body. Life is regained. The road becomes joyful as clarity and self-awareness return. Herbs, roots, algae, and fungi have helped many of us heal, move closer to our goals, and gain control of true priorities over carnal desires. Join us in leaving the chemical, material world and enter into the natural realm, from farm to farm. These finest creations are handmade and are more potent than anything your corner co-op has to offer. Our products, excluding our tinctures, are made to order to assure freshness and maximum effectiveness, fusing together healing herbs with tasty counterparts to bring out full potentials. There is so much joy in working with the natural world given to us by our Creator. Let's take part.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 3 of 4. It's you, me, and the always wonderful Karen B.
Well,
We're taking phone calls.
Yes, we
What?
are.
Huh?
Yeah. Phone
Yeah.
calls.
Phone calls. We're doing it. We're taking them.
I gotta fix
Try and
my
stop me.
scene again.
The phone number to call in is 848-222-2480. That's 848-222-2480. Nothing odd about that number. Whatever. Don't judge me. All right. We are going to pick up first call. We're going to get 505-937. We're not going to pick up 516 because I think he's working. 508 probably. And then after that, we'll see who's there. So let's go to 505 out in the fictional land of New Mexico. Come on. It's not even real.
Sure is. It's stressing me out because I don't know where I'm at anymore. Wow. Anyway, Mark, Karen, Strange World audience, it's good to talk to you. Hey, I was surfing some fake space stories before the show, and the one that caught my eye was a Starlink, an article about that Starlink program.
Yeah.
And the article was actually a bit dated, just from a couple months ago, so it was in December, but they were promoting, it kind of reminds me of what you guys were just talking about. They just throw everything at you in that, with that marijuana story, just to see if you're alive. It was 10 weird things about Starlink that you don't know. And I won't bore you with all 10 of them, but I'll throw a couple quick ones at you. Starlink runs on an open source Linux program. Let's see, the 2.0 Starlink is going to be even bigger. So the first gen satellites, they weighed 573 pounds. And the next gen that they're going to shoot out there are 2,755 pounds. I don't know why that matters, but and then they use lasers to communicate. Oh, this is a good one. Starlink Mars independence statement. So apparently they have an independence statement saying that once they're on Mars, they have full independence from any government on Earth. This one was a good one. Flat Earth connection. Starlink is available in Antarctica, the remote parts of the globe, including Antarctica. So yeah, so they just want you to know that you can use Starlink in Antarctica on the globe.
Sure.
And let's see. Yeah, one more, and I'll. China has simulated using nuclear blast to take out Starlink. So China says that if they use a 10 megaton nuclear explosion, it would probably disrupt our satellites or spacecraft. So, yeah, it's pretty wild. All the links to just different odd stuff that you needed to know about Starlink. You know, a couple of years ago after the show, I remember clearly I was listening to your show and it was done, and I went outside and I looked up and I saw this thing, and I didn't know what it was. It looked like Pac-Man game, but a couple days later I figured out that was, you know, that Starlink thing. Sure. But no idea what they're putting up there, but I'm pretty sure it's not satellites. Yeah.
I agree. And reminder to everybody that's listened to me over the years, you want to have some fun and you have a little money, go on Amazon and buy some Gen 1 night owl night vision binoculars and get your eyes adjusted and start looking at the sky. You'll blow your mind. And I was into this years before I was into flat Earth. Just years. Sky is crawling with stuff. Absolutely crawling with stuff.
Is alive.
The sky is alive.
Everything's alive.
And it's not us. That's the part that, you know, America loves to take credit. Come on, why wouldn't we? You know, we love to take credit for stuff that isn't ours. And we've taken credit for so much stuff, including everything that's been flying around the sky. Because you can just wink and a nod. It's like, yeah, we didn't reverse engineer anything at Area 51. And then you suspect everything. So, and then, you know, with shows like Stargate, that doesn't help. So, yeah, I hear you. Man. What's up there is not... Go ahead.
I think I still have that written down from years ago. The brand that you had. I think you suggested a certain brand. I really need to do that because that's come up lately with just a friend. We were talking about getting one.
Yeah, if you want to go on the cheap, real quick, $500, 500 to $600. It's about as cheap as you're gonna get. Night owl binoculars. Don't get monoculars. Get binoculars, because then
Okay.
you both
Yeah, I
eyes
was
will
going to
help.
ask you about that. Yeah. Okay.
The
Definitely
difference between
binoculars then. Yeah.
the
That
difference
sounds
between Gen 1 and Gen 3 really only help at close distances. Like Gen 3 are meant really for military, and that is to if somebody's coming at you in the dead of night, you can determine whether they're friend or foe. If Gen 1, they come out a little grainy. Gen 2, if you have a couple grand to spend, you can get Gen 2 with a 10x power. Don't get anything less than a 5x power. But if you can spend, you got a couple grand to spend,
okay.
10x power, I'd love to know what you can find. What I always thought was suspicious was I never found a version with the ability to record, a cheap economical version that could actually record to a device. In fact, the binoculars, Night Owl was notorious. They didn't have any outputs. And it's like, what the hell?
Okay.
It's like, why wouldn't you have an output? Why can't I put this thing on a flash drive? Well, I wonder why.
1111.
1111.
Hmm.
Anything else?
And Karen, have you used these, Karen, as well? Have you been looking through any of the night vision at any of the meetups or anything?
Yeah, I've looked. Well, I looked through night vision goggles years ago, like more than a decade ago, before I was even a flat earther, and I was like, "What is going on with that?" It was kind of freaky. And then, actually, at the last Flattoberfest, a really cool guy brought his night vision
Yeah, and
goggles.
those were expensive.
Yeah, he had nice goggles, man, but you could see, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
they were like a modified Gen.
Wow.
They were like a modified Gen 2, but they were a high end. I mean, it was a pricey proposition I was holding in my hands.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I can't believe you brought those. It was awesome.
But it was good stuff.
Well, I've always heard this before I even knew about Flat Earth as well. There was a guy on Coast to Coast always promoting it. He was saying that there's different shapes, and they start. It's almost like a video game, like an Atari, where they start chasing after each other and trying to shoot at them. Did you ever see anything like that?
I didn't see any shots fired, but there was a lot of running squirrel tag that seemed to be going around. In fact, there was something I described as driver's ed, which was at a certain time, any given night, there were these V formations that seemed to be tethered, and I called it driver's ed because it looked like a bunch of student drivers that were, they were in the back of the V, and the instructor was in the front. And they were, flying across the sky in various formations, and it reminded me of, if you look it up, where flying saucers was coined was up here in the Northwest when there was a Cessna pilot that was above them, and the same sort of formation was below them, hugging the trees. And he said it looked like a whole bunch of teacup saucers that were turned upside down, and had that disc sort of shape to it, and that's where he came up with it. But yeah, a lot of weird stuff up there.
Yeah, well, we should be looking up more. That's for
I
sure.
agree.
Well, awesome. I'll let you get to the other callers. Great as always. Have a wonderful Tuesday night, and I'll do 2 shout-outs. Hey, I'm going to shout out to Jan, of course, and Zulu. Hey, man, I heard him last week on that Paiute giant story, and that was a great story. So we'll have to talk about it some other time. But, yeah, thanks, Zulu. All right, you folks have a good night. See you, Mark. See you, Karen.
Night.
Bye. Keep it flat.
It's funny that I didn't know that flying saucers that was coined up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And that's where the most that's where the most Bigfoot sightings are. And actually there's a whole thing where a lot of people see Bigfoot and UFO at the same time.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a whole thing connection with that?
Yeah, I am not sure, but yeah, it was it was in the early 1940s when that flying saucer thing happened. There were not a lot of people living up here at the time, and it was south of Mount Rainier. The most heavily concentrated, by the way, I probably already told you this, the Bigfoot sightings is the Northwest is heavy because there's a lot of trees, but there is an island just north of here. In fact, I lived on that island called Vancouver Island when I was living up in Canada for a year, and that is the heaviest concentration, which is technically Canada, technically. So yeah, very cool. But yeah, the flying saucer thing, again, if you're looking up at the sky, it's highly recommend. You want to have some fun, and there's some guys that have recorded it and put it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you can find it on YouTube, but it's still better when you look at it yourself, because you're like, what's that? Because they're like little orbs, and they'll like make 90-degree turns Like,
Oh yeah.
it's crazy. They're not just going in straight lines. They're like going all over the place. There's
Oh yeah.
things up there going all over the place.
Yeah, that's what throws you is you're looking at stuff again. But the first night I did it, I was a real letdown because I'd spent the money. It's like I was sitting on the roof of the condo association that I was on, going, oh, this is boring. Just all these satellites, and the sky was just crawling with stuff. And then the second night, I go out there, and I'm following one. I was gonna call it quits within a week, I swear. And then the second night, I was watching this one, and it slowed down and then just stopped. Like it was like looking for directions or something, and then made a hard like left turn and then went ballistic at a high rate of speed out of sight. And it was starting at probably 70,000 feet, give or take. And it was like, what the hell did I just see? And at that point, I didn't trust anything because the height that you're seeing a lot of them at, they're almost the same size as stars from a perspective standpoint. So if they just threw it into park or neutral, you'd never be able to tell from a star.
That's
but
what I'm
because there's so many
saying.
stars, you can always tell when one takes off because all of a sudden one of the stars starts moving for no apparent reason. It's like, where are you going, little buddy? You know, and yeah, it's just freaky. Absolutely.
But if
yeah,
you
you're
take
right.
the
When you see
goggles
it for
off, you don't
yourself,
see them. That's the trippy part. Like, they're not something you can really see with the naked eye.
no, nope, nope, you can't. Which is why
They're
night
outside of
vision.
our visual spectrum.
Yeah, which is why I've told people again and again. It's like, look, you don't. It's not like Close Encounters. UFOs are just like cars in that cars work just fine when their headlights are off. Right? UFOs are same thing. The UFOs that want to be seen, oh yeah, they'll crank their lights on. But if they turn their lights off, you cannot see them and you can't hear them either. That's what makes them so perfect. It's not the light show. It's because their engines don't make any noise. Everybody knows planes, even from the simplest prop plane to the jets. Like when they're coming over. It's like it's you hear them from so far away.
Well, you
UFO
would
could be
hear it
parked.
at least if it was passing over you. Because I've seen jets where they fly at you like it's clearly military. Because when at my mom's house in California, I
Yeah.
remember sitting out by the pond, and one night I seen this bright light. It was flying very low over the hills, and I couldn't hear it until it passed in front of us. And then I could hear that it was a jet.
There you go. Yeah.
So sometimes you can't, you'll hear it at least when it passes you. But these, like, you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
A UFO is like a UFO could, like a helicopter, could park it could be over the top of your house right now, and you'd never know it. And that part, when in the Spielberg movie from the 1970s, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that part was spot on, where these things were going anywhere they wanted to, and if they wanted to go into stealth mode, they didn't even have to throw on the cloak because most people would never look up if they can't hear it. All right, let's go to where do we leave off? Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, let's go. He's been on hold for 74 minutes. 937. I haven't picked you up, have I? 937. Ohio. Are you listening? Is your mute button on? 54321. Okay, let's go down to, we'll pick him back up maybe later. Let's go down to 406. 406. Have you ever called into the show before?
I have once before, and I was really nervous. I'm less nervous today.
You should be less nervous now.
But you were talking. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. You guys were talking about Hillary Clinton's latest murder that she did of her previous aide who knew about Epstein.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Yes.
of course. Sure.
But plus, do
Sure.
I think she has the personal strength to haul somebody up, up a tree and hang them by an extension cord? No.
I agree. I didn't mean actually her, but we all know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Anyway, just thought it was interesting that right around the time that I heard about her latest thing, I also heard and I saw Klaus Schwab giving a speech, and he was instructing all the countries of the world to decriminalize pedophilia.
Sure.
And then he went on to explain that it would be far better for the planet because people who have sex with children tend to have far fewer children or fewer offspring, so it's good for the planet. I'm not kidding. You can watch him. You can watch him saying all that. Look it up on BitChute.
All right.
You can see it.
All right.
Okay. So then, You expect that kind of thing out of Klaus Schwab, right?
Well,
Well,
he is getting up there in years, so I figured he's got, what does he got to lose?
He's pretty evil.
Yeah, yeah, he's going for the
He's-
villain of the year award.
Okay, well, not to be outdone, Pope Bergoglio, the freak over in Rome.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. He just came out and he just said that, well, to preface this, for the past few years, he's been pushing universalism. He says hell is empty and even atheists go to heaven. I think
Sure.
he forgot to read a Bible. Anyway, he just came out and said, pedophiles have been with us since the beginning of time, and it's just a natural state of being. And pedophiles not only go to heaven, they get a special place in heaven. And so we've got Schwab doing his thing. We've got the New World Order Church in Rome doing their thing. And it just makes me wonder, right around the same time that Hillary seems to be getting nervous, are they all getting nervous and they're going for broke on this stuff?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure, why not? Things too, we keep it pretty stable here. And we try to spin it in a positive direction, but yeah, things are, if you're part of the NWO, things are kind of falling apart at a certain level. I mean, there's supposed to be a big distraction about now, and they're running late with it. So why not turn it up a notch?
Yeah,
If-
I
if
think
you're
that
them.
some heat might be on something. It's very,
Maybe.
very weird. Anyway,
Maybe.
that's all I got.
Well, thank
And
you.
I've got one shout out to St. Francis, and sorry your good name is being sullied by the freaking Rome. And
Which
that's
Pope
it.
is saying
Talk to you
this?
guys later.
That's all right. We'll confirm it.
What's that?
Anyway, thank you, man. You have a good night. Okay.
What do you
All
need to what do you want confirmed?
No, well, no, we're gonna look up stuff. Karen, we do research as send me, email me some links if you get a chance.
Okay. I will.
Okay. All right. Have a good
Okay.
one. See ya.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Let's go out to Trucker Dennis. He's driving on the West Coast somewhere. Dennis, where are you headed currently? Are you near a way station?
Not yet. I was a little bit slowed down tonight because it was snow, but that's all over now. So I'm moving north on I-5, just heading out of Salem, Oregon, north.
Gotcha. So what's up?
I think I'm real near the break. I didn't glance at the time, but I had a couple things in mind, but I'll just go with one. I made a discovery, I think, during the past week. Well, let me say, Ed, I think everybody, you and Mrs. Karen, and I think most of the listeners are familiar with the video came out about 2 to 3 years ago of a scientist. It's a black and white interview from 1965. This guy, an older man, I don't know, 50s, 60s, claiming the moon is made of plasma.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I know, nobody ever came out with his identity. It was from an ABC News Australia footage, and the line, they said the entry with it says his name is R. Foster, and he teaches in Tasmania. And ABC's never been able to find any other source that corroborates that. Nobody else has a clue who this guy is. Well, I just want to share some information I came across the past week that goes, I think, a long way in that direction. Anyway, there was a book I came across first is what clued me into it by Lerner. It came out in 91, and it's dissident. It's a mainstream scientist, but most of the scientific community disagrees with it. It's called The Big Bang Never Happened. And I looked this guy up. I forget his last name, Eric, but Lerner, Lerner. Anyway, he was a student of a man by the name of Hannes Alphen. First name Hannes, last name Alphen, Alfven. And this Alphen was the leader of a 20th century school of dissident plasma scientists. And he actually won the Nobel Prize for Science in 1970. And the subject matter that the guy in the video was talking about, his approach to it, his boldness in declaring things that contradict the consensus of the mainstream science community, it matches with it a lot. I don't know. He does look like him. I don't know if that's the same guy as Hannes Alphen. He's got a Wikipedia article. It's informative and interesting because I say to someone like, who's that well-known Russian that was disagreed in the 40s, 50s, and 60s with mainstream science. His stuff seems to me, just general, a little bit more plausible. I mean, there's stuff I disagree with him, but I mean, he's heliocentric and what have you, but he's got some stuff that may be good. But anyway, that's what I found out. It's definitely, the subject matter is too close to same time period, everything. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Dennis. Hey, have you already you're already getting ready for the meetup down in California?
Yeah, actually, I was going to give a shout out to Mr. Renee. It was actually, you may be familiar. I got my plane tickets last week. I'm definitely going. I got the rooms reserved at the Ocean Surf Inn. He recommended. I want to shout out to Mark Sargent also, because I talked to him on the phone, and he said, if you can, he sent me a message, help out, make a donation to Mark Sargent. And to Mark Sargent's credit, Mark Sargent turned me down cold twice in a row. So I offered to pay for the plane tickets and for the lodging, and already taken care of. But I was looking to buy him a copy of the Christian Topography by Kosmas Indicopleuskas as a gift. And there's a book about it that I think you're familiar with, Travis Lee Clark, that debunks its detractors, Imaging the Cosmos.
Yeah.
And I just said this book is online for free, and I just did a search with it to see if it had been published, and it's not. But that's how I came across Eric Lerner's book, actually. So shout out to Mr. Renee for that. He's the reason why I came across that information, although he's probably unaware of it.
Cool. All right. Hey, we got to go to break, man. So we will talk soon, and we'll don't be a stranger. Drive safe, okay?
Will do. I'll be there.
Okay. See you, man. And of course, we will talk about this at least a few more times because it's not going to be until March 18th, and I will be there. And yeah, don't donate to me directly. If anything, Renee got my tickets, so donate to Renee if he's taking donations. If you run into him, Karen, let's go to our final break, shall we?
Absolutely.
Right on.
Alpha 33, target is on property, approaching food trailer.
Engage Delta 9.
Roger. Alpha 33 descending.
Hey, I know you.
They might be listening.
CIA?
Maybe.
Aliens?
Probably.
Globalists?
Definitely. I may have already said too much.
We have what you need.
Really?
It's flat
I'm listening.
and round
Go on.
and delicious.
Tell me the secret. see the truth in it.
I thought you might.
This truly is a special place.
Yeah, we like to think so.
Will you be here tomorrow?
We move around quite a bit.
Ah, a mobile command center. A strong strategy. I like where your head's at.
Anything else?
I was never here.
Package intercepted. Copy that, Alpha 33. Come on back, let's eat.
Long live Flat Earth.
Long live Flat Earth!
Welcome back to Strange World, part 404. It's you, me, and the undisputed Karen B. And yeah, we're taking phone calls. 848-222-2480. That's 848-222-2480. We're going to pick up 904, who's been on hold for 14 minutes. Yeah. 904, what's happening?
Yeah, hey, what's happening? Dan at Valley Music Journey here.
Hey, Dan.
How's Florida?
Hey, Karen. Oh, well, it warmed up this week. We got a cold snap, though. I'm only 20 minutes from the Georgia border here. We get a little weather. 22 degrees in December was the low.
Really?
So, yeah, I'm not complaining, though. It's not, it's not snow and, 8 degrees like my cousin said in Kirkland a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it is currently, it's currently 30. Oh, it's 33 right now where I am.
33. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's 33 degrees.
Yuli says he doesn't miss it all. Hey, I was wondering
Yes.
what your best theory is on what Starlink is. Is it that balloon thing or something else?
Probably. I mean, why not? I mean, balloons are pennies on the dollar. If everything revolves around greed and money and power and you want to save money, I mean, what are you going to do? Shoot a rocket up? You know, the logistics of shooting a rocket up versus balloons? Come on. I mean, there are people out there that have actually tied balloons to lawn chairs and launched themselves up successfully and floated around and then, popped a few of the balloons. My favorite was that guy that went up with just a bunch of tiny little balloons and they used a BB gun to shoot enough to where he could descend. It was brilliant. How high tech is that? A Red Ryder is a descent vehicle? That's awesome.
It's redneck engineering right there.
That is redneck engineering. was famous redneck last words. Here, watch this.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. But yeah, I do think it's balloons. Why not? If most of the other stuff is balloon technology, why not? And think about how fast the United States government and NATO jumped on that Chinese story, where once they got China to admit that they had balloons, which is hilarious. Thanks, going China. NATO says, hey, we should start implementing a balloon program. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, which meant now moving forward, anything up there, it's like, oh yeah, we started working on them because of China. because yeah, China's so good at innovation. They don't imitate anybody else. Come on.
Yeah, how much helium do they buy again? NASA, an incredible amount of helium
Well, yeah,
under their
NASA's
contracts
the
that are
biggest
public record.
biggest consumer of helium in the world. They've been using helium balloons for their projects since the 1950s. And again, it's not secret information. That's the part that drives me insane. It's not classified. If you can launch a 8,000-pound payload on a helium balloon and achieve the same electronic, whatever you want to call it, your goals, electronic goals, with a high-end balloon, why in the world would you ever use a rocket? Oh, right, because that way you can pump money into a project that's not doing anything. So yeah, no, Starlink, I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate Elon. I hate the fact that he was announced the richest publicly, the richest man in the world again. Hate that. Bugs me. Hate me. They asked him for quotes on everything. What bugs me now is he is such a government tool that no matter what the topic is, they ask him about it. Like he's got sage-like wisdom, like he's been living in a cave meditating for the last decade. And they asked, was, hey, what do you think about Ukraine? Hey, what do you think about climate change? Hey, what do you think about Korea? And whatever he says, they print. Drives me insane. Sorry.
Oh, I know it does. He's one of my most love to hate guys too. You probably saw, maybe you didn't, but there was another guy that sent me. Somebody analyzed the bloodline, but I had too much going on here lately, so I didn't really read all of it. But they went up the ladder of who he descended from, and yeah, as usual, it's a who's who of people put into place, into power,
right,
and into the public spotlight for a reason.
Yeah. And again, the fact that in fact, I watched a news story today. It was an Asian woman. The story drove me insane twice. It was an Asian woman reporting on him. It was simultaneously that he was the richest man in the world again, and that China was upset with him because he was condemning something, and they were saying, if you want, China wasn't even a threat, saying, if Tesla wants to continue doing business in China. But she immediately called him, and this is the part that bugged me, she immediately called him the founder of Tesla. And it's like, no, he did not found Tesla. That was founded by a whole other group of guys. He bought Tesla, which is why I like saying, it's like, look, Mark Cuban did not found the Dallas Mavericks. He bought them. Ray Kroc did not found McDonald's. That was done by the McDonald brothers. Ray Kroc just bought them out. But
yeah,
you rewrite the charter, and the public
he took the juice.
Dumb. Yeah, the people have the attention span of goldfish. That's what they believe. Oh no, I mean, again, I don't want to drag this out, but the fact that they took Elon Musk and they elevated him to Tony Stark status. Tony Stark is a fictional character, an engineering impossibility in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they did a crossover where
I thought he was a skateboarder. I got him mixed up.
There you go. Oh, you mean Tony Hawk? Yeah. I mean,
okay, Stark.
Elon Musk did a cameo in Iron Man 2. It's like, oh God. Anyway, sorry. I'd love to sit in a room with him one day and just make him look bad, just by talking to him. Because man can't talk. He can tweet, but that's about it. He cannot talk. I've listened to his interviews.
Yeah, once in a while he lets out a nugget of truth too. So maybe he doesn't have a total muzzle on him, and he's like a little bit. They probably put a couple people in there that are slightly off the rails so that they can make people divert their attention from everything else, right?
Well, they were trying to make him a red team savior, and it was working for a little bit. Hell, my brother-in-law, perfect example. My brother-in-law just straight up out of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, he's a genius. He knows what's going on. I'm going, what? Come on, man. You don't actually believe that. But if he's saying it, then some of his coffee shop people are saying it too. Anyway, what else you got? Anything?
There's always hope.
Yeah.
Well, this relates to something that happened on the dock on Saturday when I was at the marina, and I dabble with boats some. And got invited aboard a yacht that came up from Key West, and they started telling me about all the new technology they had on their boat. And oh yeah, we subscribed to Starlink. Boy, it's the best. We could get rid of all of our other crap up there on the mast, and we got this. And they just put a Starlink temporary, receiver up there. They're going to mount it permanently, they said. And I said, "Oh, how's it work?" "Oh, it works awesome. But we're in the Bahamas. It doesn't work at all there." And I'm like, okay, it's up in the sky, and Bahamas is not that far from the Florida coast.
No, it is not.
That's interesting.
No, it is not. Yeah, no, Starlink, heck, Peanut Gallery gave up on Starlink. He was trying to, and that was Oklahoma, not to give any hints of where Peanut Gallery may be. But they delayed and they delayed and they delayed. So no, Starlink is a sham. It's an utter sham. It is not satellite communications. Nothing is satellite communications. Yeah. It isn't. Again, the reason why the clues said what they said, which is if you get off the coast, if you get away on a body of water that is at least 150, 200 miles away from any other body of land, you will lose. You will, again, planes, you'll disappear. GPS goes into approximated mode. Bahamas, really? Bahamas, you lose signal? Really? Middle of the Atlantic,
maybe it was a little bit past there. They're in the Caribbean for a year, but it wasn't that far away.
Whatever. Don't believe the hype. Anyway, what else you got? Anything?
Yeah.
Fun?
Oh, my last thing was just related to that with the the stratospheric aerosol injections during the daytime. You were talking about nighttime viewing. One thing that's really interesting to me for quite a while is and scary is if you look at the really, really high altitude ones that are laying the tracks up there, they're a tiny dot, if you can even see a dot with the naked eye. But then you have the ones lower that are clearly, whatever, Air Force or NATO airplanes or who knows, right? Because according to the people that I've talked to, they don't do them in Mexico, like I was saying last time. Yeah. They might do them, but not nearly as much as here. So what are those things way up there? It sounds kind of like what you're seeing with the night vision of what something really high altitude that's doing those. Sometimes it looks like rockets or something too, but they lay down all these tracks, all these different ways across the sky. It doesn't look like it's always a normal jet to me, but any theories there?
Whatever's up there that your gut instincts don't automatically kick in what they are, all I can tell you is it's not us. It's not. There's all sorts. When I lived in Boulder, Colorado, and I had the wonderful vantage point of DIA being due east of me, I could see the planes incoming from the north and outbound to the south. And, I saw the running lights and I saw the altitude they were at, and you absolutely knew they were planes. Hell, you could hear them, from north and south, and everything else that was above them that was tracking north, south, and all the other angles, completely silent without any sound at all. All I can tell you is it has nothing to do with us. The United States, does the United States have some advanced military programs? Sure. Have we reverse engineered them to the point where they portray them in the television series Stargate? I really doubt it. Really, really doubt it. So that's the only answer I can give you. Until they land, we're never going to know for sure.
Okay. Because the other reason why it relates is just because of the possibility, and there's some people saying that they're spraying it in part is just because it increases the conductivity of the air for a lot of different reasons. Some of it nefarious, but some of it might be just for conducting radio waves, as if Starlink, really were what they claim it to be.
Maybe. Don't know.
That's all I got. Well, thanks, you guys. This is a good subject because it's timely, and I appreciate all you guys do. So,
thanks, man. Hey, you have a good rest of your evening, and be safe. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Dennis as being the scholar in the truck.
Okay.
Yeah, and y'all in the chat too. Thanks. All right. Good night.
Bye-bye. Oh, let's go out to 646. 646. You are not the last call of the night, but we are getting close.
Hey, did you get a chance to check out Jake Paul fighting Tyson Fury's little brother last weekend?
I was talking to Karen and Peanut about that before the show. Yes, I did. What I loved about that story was, again, there's nothing new under the sun, and that was, Jake Paul and Logan Paul are trying to ruin the boxing and professional wrestling, although Logan, I think after he tore his ACL, he's not going to be doing anything for a while. But what I loved about the Jake Paul boxing story was that he released, or somebody released, weirdly, anonymously, a script for the fight, a boxing script, which I've never ever seen before in my life. And it showed that Jake Paul was going to win in the 8th round by TKO or something to that effect. And it was circulating around, and you know how that goes. Everybody that bets on boxing, they always look for the inside scoop. It's like, dude, you guys, is anyone fixing the fight? Anyone fixing the fight? So if you release a script that says you're going to win in the 8th round, all these people are going to bet on you. And then to add to that, he had Drake, the actor Drake, singer / actor / whatever, say that, oh yeah, he bet $400,000 on Jake to win and could win $1 million, right? Even though there was no confirmation that he actually bet $400,000 on Jake to win. And then what do you think happens? Holy smokes, the man that was 6-0, that was paying people to lose, he loses by decision at the end of the fight. And all those people that fell for the freaking,
right?
all the people that fell for the script, they lost big. And I'm hoping he gets in
so
trouble.
I had this idea. It was like if you like I don't know, I just like this idea. What if you and Elon Musk did a UFC fight, and then that would be awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys fight.
But he's not.
You know how much how blown up that would be? Flat Earth versus like the Paul gang, which would just be the ultimate like circus shit show.
Ugh.
But you're not a prize fighter, and neither is Elon Musk. You're pretty in shape, dude. But you're like you guys could both like probably make a pretty good fight.
If Elon, well, first off, Elon wouldn't challenge me. What I think would be a more interesting fight would be Neil Tyson. Even though Neil Tyson, he's I think 10 years older than I am. And
I would love
Neil
to
Tyson,
see that one too.
Neil Tyson, by the way, was a wrestler in college. So I don't know exactly how that would go. Still have
I don't know, UFC. It should be a boxing. It should be a boxing fight, like no wrestling moves or anything. You guys just like.
Well, if anyone suggests it to me, yeah, I may be interested, but it'd have to be. I don't know.
Dude, that's like
Karen's
$1 million
already wincing at it.
dude.
She's like,
And then you just
oh
pour it back into
man,
Flat
that'd
Earth.
be too much of a circus. I would generate some interest though. I will say this. I have said it many times that look, I could be strapped to a chair and you could throw pies in my head as long as I got to say Flat Earth. So if somebody want to put me in a ring to say Flat Earth and then I'd have to take punches, yeah, maybe might be up for it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I really don't want to see.
Or better off,
or
better than that, I take on both the Paul brothers in dueling pistols at dawn. Right? Everyone shows up with a handgun of their choosing and a shovel because the winner buries the loser. How's that? There we go.
I love it. The last thing, in regards to Dennis, I think Dennis is the perfect candidate for running a shortwave radio station, either out of the back of his diesel truck or whatever he's driving, or on top of a mountain, either southern Portland or northern California. Because like, I don't know about that guy, but he's an endless stream of information. And most shortwave radio people that listen to that stuff, they just keep it on, even if it's in their garage, not even in their garage, working on their car or whatever. They just keep it on. And Dennis would just talk, and he would just keep talking. And like eventually, you would get a lot of the knowledge out of Dennis because over the course of like months and years of Dennis coming through shortwave, it would just be like almost like an education,
Dennis's hard drive is almost full, from what I can tell. Dennis has a lot of stuff jammed in his head. There is a lot of stuff.
It's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
He's read so many books, and the thing is, he reads books that other people wouldn't even think about reading. obscure.
I've got one he gave to me. He gave to me at Flatover, and I'm just now diving into it. I was like, okay, this is gonna take a month, and this is just something he did on a Saturday.
Oh yeah. Oh
You know?
no, you can tell. I mean, he digests stuff, and it's awesome to listen to because it is mind-boggling. He, he's one of those guys would like look at War and Peace and be like, that's just rookie.
Yeah, piece
Why would
of
I even
cake.
talk?
That's over coffee. That's over coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, love you guys. Gotta get off.
All right,
Bye.
man. Have a good one. See ya. All right, so let's get ready to wrap this thing up with 845. Start spreading the news. We're ending the show. I want to be a part of it.
New York.
There we go.
That was good.
I think I'm going to
Oh,
keep
my
doing
goodness.
that because if you're at the end, we are ending the show. We're ending the show with you. So,
Right.
what's
Oh, no,
what's
I
happening?
got you.
Man?
Got you.
What's happening?
Oh, that was weird. Hello?
What? I can hear you.
What's going on?
Oh, okay. No, it got staticky.
Oh, that's the
That's
agency.
weird.
Yeah.
Oh, just when you're talking.
Oh, well, that's definitely the
Crazy.
agency.
Crazy. Well, they have autonomous vehicles already. In
I
Arizona
know.
and Phoenix, you can order a Waygo driverless Uber taxis.
Sure.
No one in the vehicle. It
They
pulls
have
up,
them in
gets you, and
California
drives you to your
too.
location.
They have them in California and like
they are
Silicon Valley. I think,
very,
too.
very limited, though. Very limited.
Yeah.
To where
But
I think
it's
I read that
coming.
part.
It's coming.
Well, no, it's not.
And that
Again,
was Google. Well, they're using them on all different kinds of cars, so it's just a unit that they just can put on any vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a specific thing.
Don't forget that Tesla is being investigated because, look, the algorithm, I come from the programming world, the algorithm to build for an auto-driving car, which is why Mercedes did what it did, if you remember from 2 shows ago, where Mercedes released, they've got an auto-drive feature, but they recommend, they say you can only use it in dense traffic, slow speeds. So if you're stuck in a traffic jam,
Right.
if you're doing a commute in Los Angeles, that's really what it's for. You turn it on and then you can just read your book or whatever, or go to sleep. And then when you wake up, you'll be really close to your house. But because you're only going 20 miles an hour, maybe. Anything faster than that, what screws up the auto driving is the is rural roads mostly, where the lines aren't maintained on a regular basis. Because the software really on top of cars is based off of the white lines and the yellow lines and stuff like that. If those lines break up or aren't maintained, software doesn't know what to do. Again, look at the woman that died in Phoenix. She was walking just outside the crosswalk.
Right.
And it hit her. But the big thing, the biggest problem with it is when an accident happens. Like if Karen crashes into me, or I crash into Karen, it's a dispute between her and I, our insurance companies, right? Just the two of us. When you have an auto driving car, a lot more then we're talking about, okay, we're talking about the car manufacturer, we're talking about the software manufacturer, we talk about the update manufacturer.
Right. Who's at fault?
Who are we talking about?
Right.
And
I said that
again,
when Ford first came out with the parking vehicles that park themselves. I'm like, well, who's responsible when it fucks up and kills somebody or crashes or something? Who's paying for that?
Yeah, there's there's certain things that our legal system and our insurance companies won't do, which is why I love bringing up like The Purge. Right? How many movies has The Purge done? Right?
Well,
Purge.
Maybe after they wrangle us into those what are they called, Karen? Not the regions, mega regions.
Mm-hmm. The mega regions, yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, they go, man. Like we said last week, the Superfund sites. Hell yeah. Why not? Why not just poison shit and then wrangle everybody and move them to certain locations? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They're all rotten. They're all
that
just
was
rotten,
passed
rotten
around
people.
during the last meeting I was at, but I don't know. We didn't vote on it. Anyway, what else you got, man?
You didn't like that one? I do love the MVG goggles. Got to go with them. They're awesome. I've seen shit. It was crazy formations. I was at a MUFON thing. I saw them, and then came home and didn't have MVG, and saw two what I thought were satellites going in unison, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And they stopped, and then one went one way, and the other one kept going. It's crazy the shit that's up there. And you're right. Most of the time, you cannot see it with your naked eye. You look with an NVG, and you're like, "Holy shit, what's that?" And you pull them away, and you can't see it.
Yeah, it is very much like They Live in that aspect, where people are walking around at night. They have no idea.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the military guys over the years, even though the night vision for military doesn't have really magnification on it, I'm sure they see it.
Probably. I'm sure of it. And another quick giant thing, near St. Louis, before they built the city of St. Louis, they believed there was a giant civilization that lived there. They found these structures that were built oversized, and then they were destroyed, and then the city was rebuilt with smaller structures for people our size. And then they found it allegedly and built St. Louis over it and destroyed it and wanted to hide it all. Yeah. Just a thing. So another one of those giant rabbit holes.
The giant of Kandahar variations.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. It's all over the place. It's literally all over the place. Just like all the stuff that they're saying that, oh yeah, the Mayans and them were never around up here, and there's pyramids and stuff. There's all kinds of shit in South Carolina. Ridiculous. Like the paint that they used in the Mayan culture, the blue pigment comes from a plant that comes from South Carolina, not from the rainforest.
Gotcha.
So they had to be here.
Hey, do you have a quote? Because we're running out of time.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Darn it, I was on the wrong thing here.
Well, we started a little late today.
I know.
You don't care.
Okay. Try to wrap up on time.
All right. Once you trust a self-driving car with your life, you pretty much will trust artificial intelligence with anything. Wow, that was hard to say. That was a mouthful.
Yeah, it was.
David Waters. That was some Oxford professor who apparently he doesn't like it either. AI. That shit's creepy. Like I saw
again,
they
just,
were doing.
Just to clarify for those listening, AI is not artificial intelligence is not self-aware. It is
no. It works off of all the input you put in it. That's it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that think that AI is is conscious. It's like nope, not yet. They're not even close. Again, if we can't think of how to do it in fiction, it's going to be really tough to write the code for it in real life. So, but I get you. All right, man. We're putting a cap on this baby. So, say goodnight, Karen.
Good night, Karen.
Say goodnight, Zulu.
Good night, Zulu.
And in a puff of smoke, Peanut is gone. And we will be back next week. Same flat time, same flat channel. Karen, let's take us out with the music. And hot sex.
Hot sex.
I should say safe sex, but you know what? That's assumed.
I don't even like saying safe anymore. I don't like saying stay safe after everything being safe and effective.
Oh, good point.
Screw that.
That's right. Dumb and dangerous.
Live free and dangerously.
Nice. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Recording stopped.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us for another episode of Strange World. And we will be back next Tuesday at the same time, as Mark said. And I will be back Saturday with anti-religious scripture study, and also Monday for coffee talk. So won't you join me again for those wonderful things to look forward to? Absolutely. All right. Also, thank you for the tip for buying me a coffee, Robert M. Cheers, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for being here. And we'll see you next time.